Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, if you're having a cardiac event, every second counts. We'll be talking to a survivor and her husband. They've started an amazing nonprofit. You're not going to want to miss this next episode. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
So just minutes ago, before we were preparing for this show, I learned that only 8% of people who are having a cardiac event survive, and that is just incredible to me. Joining us right now, Julie and Greg Coon. They are with Cardiac Crusade. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Let's start with you, Greg, because you made the point to me that you can pull up your phone right now and find every Starbucks on the planet. But if you needed to find a defibrillator, you can't.
And so, after Julie had her sudden cardiac arrest, I'm back in my office, and now I realize the importance of knowing where the closest AED is. It's literally the difference between life and death. So I look at my phone and I'm like, why can't I ask, say, hey Google, hey Siri, where's the closest Starbucks? And you have everything you need within 2 seconds, but you can't find that. You can't use that information with an AED. And to me, that just seemed crazy. So we started a petition to get that done.
Okay, we're going to hear a lot from Julie in a second, but she gave an amazing TED Talk. Those TED Talks can run like 12, 15 minutes, so we can't show the whole thing, but let's show the first 3 minutes.
Hello, Plano 911.
I'm at Plano Senior High. Somebody just fell to the ground, and we need an ambulance.
All right. Okay, I've got paramedics on the way. Can you tell me what happened?
She just fell. I was standing here talking to her, and she fell.
And is she awake?
No, she's unconscious.
Okay, is she breathing?
Is she breathing? She's not breathing. My God.
Is there somebody else there with you, ma'am?
Yes, somebody's doing chest compressions, and we have an athletic trainer just came out.
Okay, so somebody's doing CPR?
They're doing chest compressions.
All right, stay on the line with me, okay? Is there a defibrillator available?
Is this a defibrillator? Well, there is, yes, there's a defibrillator.
Do not touch patient. Analyzing heart rhythm. Please wait. Preparing shot. Move away from the patient.
All right, just let me know when they're right there with her, okay?
Okay, they just pulled up. Okay, they're here.
Okay, ma'am, I'll let you go.
I didn't know it at the time, but I was the star of that video. When I woke up on the morning of October 11, 2018, I had no idea I would end the day in the hospital. I found out later that I had a sudden cardiac arrest. My rescuers are my heroes. My friend Diane, a coach, an athletic trainer, and twin high school girls. So here's what happened. Immediately, my friend called 911. Within 45 seconds, I was receiving CPR. And at 2 minutes, I got the first of 2 shocks from an AED, which is an automated external defibrillator. At 3 minutes, the ambulance arrived and rushed me to the hospital. I was finally breathing on my own, and my heart was beating. When I got to the hospital, I remember opening my eyes and looking up at the ceiling tiles. I heard the medical staff attending to me say, "Welcome back, and you are a very lucky woman." I was lucky because my responders were able to give me CPR so quickly. I was able to get oxygen to my brain, and I didn't suffer brain damage.
Wow, Julie, as you watch that, is it difficult to hear the 911 call?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't all there. I have no memory of it. So being able to hear it, it makes it even more real. And it kind of puts me in a third person perspective. Like I'm watching it, but it's hard to believe that it was me, you know?
And Greg, you get a call at work. And what was the call?
The call was a police officer saying your wife, Julie, had a cardiac event. They didn't say specifically it was a cardiac arrest or an event. She's okay, because 90% of the people are, don't make it. And so that was the call. And they said, just get to the hospital as soon as you can, but she's okay.
And you get to the hospital?
I get to the hospital, and she's sitting up in the emergency room, and she looks at me and she goes, "I'm sorry." And the thing is that she was saying, "I'm sorry," because all the hubbub that was going around, she thought she just fainted, and there's all this activity going around, and but she was sitting up, beautiful as always, and
Julie, as you see your husband tearing up, I mean, what does that feel like? Because every time he tells that story, he tears up.
Yeah, he certainly does. It's tough to see that because I know that the pain is on those who witnessed it. All of my rescuers, honestly, they had the trauma and the oh crap moment, you know. And luckily, Greg came in when the story was good, when I was doing well. But for me, it was just a open eyes, shut eyes, open eyes.
Yeah.
You know?
And so in the coming days and weeks, when do you guys come up with this idea for Cardiac Crusade?
Well, we started we launched the charity about a year after her cardiac arrest, but it was within a few weeks, a month or two, when we started actually kind of getting the ball rolling, because I was at my desk at my office and I'd look at my phone and it's like, you know, hey, why can I ask, hey, Google, hey, Siri, where's the closest Starbucks? And you have everything you need in 2 seconds, but you don't have that with an AED that can save someone's life. And when we talk about it, and actually we talked about it before we started rolling, it's like, that's not a thing, where AED locations are on your smartphone natively, not just an app and listing on a website. It has to be native. So you have to say, hey, Google, hey, Siri, where is it? And it pops up like it would for a Starbucks, for example.
Staying with you, Greg, some cities are very progressive in this. You say San Diego, you can find just dozens and dozens.
Well, San Diego is more than just dozens, it's thousands. So San Diego has over 2,600 as of today, AEDs registered into the database. So the national average is between 8 and 10% survival rate, where depends on where you are in San Diego, those rates can be anywhere between 50 and 70%. So a cardiac is survivable. If you call 911, you start CPR, but you have to know where the AED is located, because CPR is essential. Always do CPR, but all that CPR does is by minutes. All you're doing is you're acting as the heart beating by doing the chest compressions. So you're just keeping the brain alive and extending the brain, the amount of time the brain is alive before it starts to die, because if you don't do that, the brain starts to die within 3 minutes. So you have to of course, do CPR, but also you've got to know where the closest AED is quickly, because if it takes 7 minutes for an ambulance to arrive, That's the difference between life and death if there's an AED located across the street or around the corner that you don't know where it is. That's why mapping them is so important.
Sure. Okay. And Julie, we can't disclose which mapping companies you're talking to right now, but it also depends on the owner of the AED to report, right? So tell us about the challenges that you're facing so far.
Challenges to getting them mapped, I'm guessing. Yeah, getting them mapped is a challenge because putting them on the map is very important because then it is accessible to 911 operators so that when there's an event, they can mention that location to a possible rescuer. And Greg can expand on that.
Right now, our database partner is PulsePoint. And PulsePoint has a paid premium service where it does push notifications to cities like, we're from Plano, and they will do a push notification if there is a sudden cardiac arrest, for example, next door to the restaurant next door where we're having lunch or whatever. But PulsePoint also offers at no cost free access to the database to any city, county, state, municipality across the country, where it's not a push notification, but at least the 911 operators will know that where they're located, and they can direct people to go to those locations.
Absolutely. You've gotten a lot of media attention. We found a great piece that was done a little while ago. Let's go ahead and roll that.
If you were in a situation that required you to use an AED, would you know where to find one? Those are life-saving devices that have gotten a lot of attention in our community within the last year. Much of that spotlight was drawn by Damar Hamlin's cardiac arrest on the field in Cincinnati in January. Since then, he's been going around to several community groups, including through the American Heart Association, teaching folks the importance of CPR and how to do it. That's why I'm taking a closer look at a potentially life-saving effort in Western New York. There's an organization hoping to help you find medical devices like this AED kit near you more quickly.
Time is the enemy. Within 10 minutes, someone could lose enough oxygen that it's going to be fatal, or at least life-altering if it's not within a certain amount of time.
Do you know what to do in the event someone near you is suddenly suffering from cardiac arrest? Larry Coon is part of a partnership with a nonprofit called Cardiac Crusade, run by his cousin, located in Dallas. Larry represents the Rotary Club of Kenmore, hoping to be the boots-on-the-ground effort to ensure every location in Western New York has access to AEDs.
An AED is the only thing that will bring a cardiac arrest patient back, but CPR buys them time.
If a sudden cardiac arrest victim is shocked with an AED within the first minute of collapse, the chances of survival are close to 90%.
Greg Coon and his wife Julie are co-founders of Cardiac Crusade. This nonprofit is personal for Julie because she suffered a cardiac arrest in 2018 while on a school visit.
I'm alive today because of that AED and the CPR that they gave me.
Here's how the partnership works. They're recruiting an army of volunteers to identify and register AED locations into the National Registry. The database is available to all 911 systems in the United States and Canada at no cost. That's where the Rotary Club of Kenmore comes in.
In Western New York, we're way behind, so we have a lot of opportunity to increase those numbers so that 911 dispatchers will know where they are, and eventually the general public will be able to know where they are as well.
Anyone can volunteer to get AED locations on the map. Now, there's a link on WKBW.com that will take you to a 20-minute course. The groups are hoping to spread it to other Rotary clubs, medical groups, and anyone else who would like to help save lives from cardiac arrests.
Okay, Greg, that was Buffalo, and obviously that event made world headlines. What are your goals for Buffalo?
So, we have an in with Buffalo on a number of fronts. Well, first of all, my cousin Larry is the one that was on that in that report, and he's taken our mission and is determined to make Buffalo a more livable city. So what we've done is we're looking at San Diego because they have 2,600 plus AEDs and a survival rate that's 50 to 70%, and we're trying to do that. Take that blueprint and template and put that into Buffalo, New York, because they only have 12 or whatever the number is. So we're on a mission to make that happen. And we have, obviously Damar Hamlin with the Buffalo Bills, global news. And we have been in contact with people within the Buffalo Bills medical staff, and working as a partnership with them to help make that happen. So we've got 2 or 3 fronts happening with Buffalo, the city of Buffalo. Plus, we've done Rotary Club meetings in Buffalo, and we're working with different municipalities in and around the Buffalo area. So our goal is to take what San Diego has done and knock it out of the park with Buffalo, New York, create a template, and then use that template to then go across and make this coast to coast.
And I'm sure that when you're explaining this to people, everybody has got to say, hallelujah, amen, why not, right? So there's not really much resistance. Julie, why don't you talk about how people can get involved?
Well, to get involved, you could easily find all that information at our website at cardiaccrusade.org. And we've had Boy Scouts that want to register AEDs. We've had different groups that they make it a mission to just look for AEDs and get them on the map. And we also have people who want to donate. If they don't want to go out and do that, that's good too. So anything else you want to add, Greg?
No, I think, this will save lives. By you going to a location and there's an AED and you register it, in 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, that AED could be found because it's on the map and that person is now alive.
Wow. Well, they always say there are 2, profound days in your life, the day you were born and the day you figure out why. Do you think this is why you guys were put on the planet?
Well, she died. She's already died and come back. She literally was.
I'm on part 2.
Yeah, she's on part 2. And but yeah, this is.
I think this is. He is so passionate about this, and it stems from his imminent possible loss of me. Right. So and that's driving him. I'm over here surviving, and he's pushing the envelope.
Well, I can see why you're so successful, and thank God that you're giving your life to this amazing nonprofit. We're going to end with the website, which again is cardiaccrusade.org. Julie and Greg, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.